What's the groove, gardeners? How's it going? It's a nice gloomy day outside, real cloudy, but it's not raining. It is a little chilly, but I hope you guys found some time today to get out to your gardens. Yeah, and if you didn't start yet, if you didn't start yesterday, start today, right? If you didn't start today, start now. Right? Start now. If you're watching this video from your mobile device, bring your mobile device with you. Get out there and get some seeds planted, at least. You know, sometimes seeds can be free. Let's talk about it. Seeds can be free. Gardening doesn't have to be so expensive. Sometimes you get seeds from fruits you eat from the grocery store, right? Sometimes you get seeds from growing out your vegetables and letting them go to seed. That doesn't cost you anything, right? Now you do have to buy your plants sometimes to start with. But you see this broccoli? See this broccoli? I allowed this broccoli to go to seed so I could keep and harvest the seeds. That way I never have to buy this plant again. Same thing for my red Russian kale. You see these dragon tongue mustard greens? Dragon tongue mustard greens, they're a real spicy green. And I allowed them to go to seed so I can harvest your seeds. Harvest these seeds, right? Now, what are some reasons I would do that? I would say a lot of reasons to there's a lot of reasons to let your plants go to seed. First of all, you don't want to be buying packs of seeds. Oh, seeds are only $2. Seeds are only $3. Yeah, for one pack. But then when you want to grow more than one pack, and you're like me, and you just buy a lot of plants and a lot of seeds, and you're just into that type of thing, it could get very costly. You could go from buying 3 packs of $3 seeds to, 15 packs. Now you're walking out spending like $60. Right? So it can be expensive. It can be expensive. So I just want to let you guys know, once your plants go to seed, it no longer provides what you grew it for. Like you see these red Russian kale. Once it goes to seed, it'll stop producing foliage. I haven't been harvesting from here, so there's a lot of extra foliage to harvest and eat. But if it goes to seed, it won't continue producing those leaves. Like here, this kale stopped producing leaves for me to eat because it's focusing on putting all of its energy into reproducing into these seeds. It's trying to keep its energy and genetics, since it is a healthy plant, it's passing on its healthy genetics to these seeds, so then it could reproduce and grow just like we do when we have kids, right? So your plants will stop producing what you actually grew it for, but then guess what? Now you have all these seeds and you could grow it again next year at no cost. Right? Why else would you let your plants go to seed like this? Pollination. It's probably not so good that I have this different variety of plants so close together, because they are going to cross-pollinate and my seeds won't be true to seed. And what that means is this Lacinato kale is so close to this other kale that they're probably going to mix genetics and it'll become a hybrid seed. Now that's not GMO. GMO is genetically modifying the genetics of the plant. This is natural modification through pollination of the bees that come around. They don't stick to one plant when they go to these flowers. They go from plant to plant, right, and collect all the pollen in all of these, which actually pollinate each plant, which would cross-pollinate them and actually change the genetics on even each seed pod. So this seed pod might be different than the next seed pod, right? You see this bee right here? How he just goes from flower to flower? He doesn't really know which plant is which one, or he might not care. But as you can see, the yellow on his legs, that's where he holds. See it? Right? The yellow on his legs, that's where he holds the pollen to bring it back to the nest, to the queen, right? So that's another good reason why you want to let your plants go to seed. It does provide flowers and food for the environment. That's very important. It's very important to feed your bees. Why? Why is it important to feed your bees? I'm not going to go through that with you guys. If you guys don't know why it's important to feed your bees, I don't know. That's do me a favor. Go to Google and go look at how many plants and food bees provide us. If we didn't have bees, look how much food we would lose if we didn't have bees. So I'm not going to go through that list with you. Go ahead, Google it. It's 2020. You guys can Google it, right? But feed the bees, guys. Feed them. Once you feed them, they now know that they could come back to this place maybe later on in the year when they go over the winter, when they go into their nest and they don't come out. Next year they know where to come back to. Believe it or not, they're actually that smart. Red scarlet kale, just oh my gosh, right? And it's also a real beauty to the garden. So if you're with the aesthetic beauty type of vibe of gardening, letting your plants go to flower does give you a real nice look, right? Now look at that asparagus, how it flowers up. It's pretty crazy, right? So it's very important to let your plants flower up. Plus, most flowers are edible, like these. These are actually real nice to look at. Sorry, trying to find the focus, guys. Right? This is actually a barrage flower. Sorry, I'm doing this with one hand. With the alrighty. Let's try it again. What you do is you just take it off the back part, right? Sorry, there was bugs in there. But that's the flower from the barrage plant. And you could allow your plants to go to flower because sometimes the flowers are edible, right? And this looks like a pretty crazy flower. And just to let you know, the colors in some of these plants here are full of phytonutrients, pollen, actually beneficial pollen and nectar and things like that. So I suggest you eat them. Real good. They taste like cucumber. This is a barrage plant, which people actually eat the plants, the leaves, because they taste like cucumbers. I'm not a fan of them. My son loves them. I probably rather cook them. Maybe you're supposed to cook them. Cucumber flavored foliage. May be used for fresh in salads, drinks, or cooked like a vegetable. Yeah, I'd rather cook it. I haven't cooked it yet. I've eaten it raw. It's alright. But let your plants go to seed. Let your plants flower up, go to seed. Collect those seeds. Collect them for the full year. Right, guys? Collect them for the year. Because it's important that you guys do that. You don't want to be at the store having to buy seeds every year. Every year, right? And plus, you can also make money from your seeds. You can sell them. You don't have to make actual income like money, but you can trade. You can barter. Hey, I have these kind of seeds, right? You guys want to see this garlic? Check out this garlic going to seed. Look how it just flowers up. And what's crazy, it starts off like a little bulb like that, right? And then it just busts open, right? Oh, you guys got to see the first flower opening up. I'm sorry, guys, for the horrible camera. Yeah, guys. But this is garlic actually going to flower, which will produce seeds. And then I could keep those seeds. I could let them fall back down and create more garlic plants. Or I can keep the seeds for growing them wherever I want to grow them. Or, like I said, bartering, trading, anything of that nature. Right? But it's so amazing. I'll actually keep you guys updated on later videos. I will just stop by periodically, let you guys watch this grow. Right? You guys, and that's another thing about allowing your plants to go to seed. Yeah, they stop producing certain parts that you probably found beneficial, but you can find other benefits. Look at the aesthetic, eye-pleasing effect of letting your plants go into flower, right? And me, I'm not an aesthetic person. I don't really care for looks. As you can see, I go for the forest type of vibe. You know, Groovy Garden. I like the forest type natural look. Yeah, I got raised beds and stuff like that. I did paint these myself. The white borders. But other than that, I'm actually trying to go more towards that aesthetic look, right? Because at first I like to just, throw things in there and just cram things in there. But I found that beneficial as well. But growing in an eye-pleasing way is just a whole new beauty. It's just a whole new type of growing. I kind of like it, but I'm more into production. We could do the eye thing, where people love how it looks, right? But if I'm not producing, I don't care. I care about production. And at this time, I have way more food than I could ever imagine. Whether it be just like in herbs, like thyme or mint or lemon balm, it might not be something I could technically eat, but there are abundance in things I can use, right? Like I said, all those flowers are edible. The kale flowers are even edible. They're very good. These thyme, as you can see, even the thyme flowers, as you can see there, those are edibles. You can pick those off and eat them. They taste real good. This is the lemon thyme that I'm letting go to flower, right? And what does flowering do again? It brings beneficial pollinators. So things that like flowers, like bees that will come pollinate your plants, will come because they're attracted to these flowers, right? And then they'll pollinate all your other trees, like your orange trees, right? So your orange tree probably didn't bring them in, but these flowers probably brought them in. But since they're here, they'll probably pollinate other fruit trees, like your like this here. You see the flowers on there? And these are something definitely you would love your bees to be all over, right? That way you can actually get a nice fruit set off this little tree. You see, it's a very tiny tree, but it's trying to fruit like crazy. And what does that mean? That means the soil has been built down there, right? That means the soil has been built. It's really trying to fruit this. April 1st was my 1-year anniversary here. So I've been growing for a year. This plant's less than a year it's been here. And look how it's trying to fruit like crazy, right? So make sure you guys produce those flowers, guys. Let your plants go to seed. The peach trees, they actually were the first to flower in the garden, because they flower before they actually leaf out. And those flowers, the one that stay on the tree, actually turn to peaches. And that's what we got here, right? So it looks like we're starting to get a nice fruit set. We probably I haven't did a fruit count yet, but I'm sure we'll get maybe hopefully 20 peaches, right? Hopefully 20 between this tree right here. We got this guy that's a peach tree, but we don't expect anything from him this year. We got that. That's an apricot tree, kind of going through transplant shock, so it's really sad. I'm really sad. We're both really sad, right? And then this guy here, right? He has a few peaches on him too. But you know what? This guy might have about 20 peaches on him himself. So, looks like we got a good harvest coming in, right? Let your plants go to flower, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Sorry about the videos being so long. I just make them long because people like me who are into plants really like to watch these videos and learn about what other people are doing. So I just want to give everybody a chance to see what I'm doing here, right? And if I could teach you guys something, I definitely want to try, right? You see these raspberry flowers? Hopefully these produce raspberries, right? And they don't fall off. Here's where I just transplanted a raspberry. It's going through transplant shock. Hopefully it comes back. It should come back. Should be okay. But thanks, guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you guys collect some seeds. Please collect seeds from your plants, guys. When you collect your seeds, make sure you store them correctly. Those are tomato flowers right there. So we got some tomatoes coming in. But yeah, make sure you guys definitely store your seeds correctly. Why? Because if you don't store them correctly, they won't stay vital. You won't be able to regrow them. You won't be able to regrow them. So it's important that you store them in a dry place. I don't like to use plastic, so don't leave them in anything plastic. I don't even think you should like seal them to the point where they're airtight. I think they need to breathe. I'm not a specialist or professional, so take that advice with a grain of salt. You know, do your own research. Everything I've stored in plastic has mildewed and went bad. I store my seeds in plastic, in cartons, in boxes, in. All right, well let's check it out. I'll show you guys exactly how I store a few of my seeds. There it goes, guys. Sorry, my son is in there playing the game. But this is how I store my seeds, guys. Right? But as you can see, they're just dried out pods that I allow to sit in a paper. These had seeds already in it, but I went ahead and wrote the name. So purple bok choy, I went ahead and put in there, right? Here goes some Korean lettuce that I allowed to go to seed, and I left that there, right? And I just put that in a regular box. Nothing special, guys. Nothing special. So definitely there's different types of seeds, so different types of seeds will require different type of storage. So some seeds are actually hard to get the casing off of them. I found out that through what I do is I allow them to sit on like a plate. I put water, I wash them off with water, then allow them to sit on a flat surface on the counter, right, on a plate or something, right? After they dry out, then I found out whatever's that's sitting on top of it will usually dry out and fall off. Now you're left with just the seed, right? You could peel off whatever's left and then store your seed, right? Or plant it later, right? So I really appreciate you guys on tuning in. If you guys learned something today, please give me a thumbs up, share, subscribe, like, all that stuff. I don't want to tell you guys what to do, but if you guys like what I got going on here, I'm in the middle of the desert, right? They say you can't grow here in the desert. They say you can only grow this or you can only grow that. I say don't listen to they. I say don't even listen to yourself. It's not about you. Get those seeds in the floor, guys. Get those roots in the floor as soon as possible. If you didn't start today, Start now. If you didn't start yesterday, start today. Thank you guys for coming to What's the Groove Gardens, right? Where we grow naturally, not organically. Because organically could mean any sort of thing. We grow naturally. We mimic something of what a forest does, right? We mimic the same thing a forest does. We mimic natural settings, right? And I want you guys to do that too. It doesn't take a lot to grow. It doesn't have to be expensive. That right there is some white pineapple, white jade pineapple. We'll talk more about species like that later. This is white queen corn. And we'll talk more about these things later. I appreciate you guys for coming in and stopping at the Groovy Garden. You guys have a wonderful day.